Okay, so you were going big.
Well, that was the goal.
You were going to get signed.
Well, no, we were signed.
You were signed.
So we ended up signing with indie label. So we were friends. We played a couple shows around here with some bigger bands and became friends with one of the guys from Sugar Ray. And so we were talking with him and he introduced us to this whole thing of like, here's how record deals work.
Yeah.
If your first one doesn't sell and they have a five album contract, you're shelved and you're screwed. And we're like, oh, well, we still own the music, right? No, they own everything.
Sometimes I make mistakes in my life. Life goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, hey, I got wisdom from my papa. He ain't have a lot of money, but he taught me how to keep the perfect posture. So folding under pressure, that ain't something that I'm about to. Crabs in the barrel, I'm just trying to be a lobster. I hit my cousin, told him to call. It's been 12 years and I ain't heard from him at all. Had a little fallout over some money. Damn, ain't it funny how the smartest people be beefing like they some dummies? But I hope you doing swell now. Hope your family well now.
Welcome to Primary Purpose with Pej. I'm your host. My name is Pej, and today we have a very special guest by the name of Mark C. Manderson. Now, this man is definitely a force to be reckoned with in our recovery community. He is the founder of Pacific Shores Recovery, which has been in operation for 25 years, that actually started out as a sober living but has grown into much more than that. They're a small mom and pop's family-based type of center that definitely addresses addiction, but most importantly, mental health. Mark has a different approach to recovery. He himself is not a traditional addict or alcoholic, but he certainly, throughout his young adulthood, suffered with deep depression, and it was debilitating. I mean, he had a lot of suicidal ideation. He didn't want to live, but he overcame that through spirit. And now the type of work that he does, including the book that he wrote, which he actually teaches out of in a lot of the groups in his center and on a more broad level, is based around a lot of mental health, deeper rooted mental health problems and issues that people encounter and live with that's much deeper than just the addiction. And so his work blends with science-backed recovery strategies as well as deep compassion. The man is just full of compassion. I'm very, very excited to interview him. He is a wealth of knowledge and just a deep spirit, and he's overcome his many, many demons, including depression, anxiety, and he's here to show you how. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
My friend Mark is finally here sitting in his studio.
Hell yeah.
We've talked about this for a while. Met you a while back ago. Heard your name for a long time because we have mutual friends, and I came into your studio, spoke on your podcast, but I apologize that it took so long for us to get you here, but it happened in God's time.
Yeah, and that's the right time.
So, full name is?
Mark Manderson.
Mark Manderson. And who is Mark Manderson? Tell us all about you.
We're going Zoolander style. Who am I? Man, I'm just trying to figure out how to live life to the fullest, to enjoy it while being a good person, doing good stuff for others.
Which you do.
I try.
I know that about you.
Yeah. Well, that's the great...
Stay modest.
Well, that's the great thing is I mean, I've known of you probably for 15 years, however long it's been.
Yeah.
And your name's always thrown in circles, and especially in the industry we're in, when it's a positive connotation, you're like, okay, it sticks out. And so finally meeting you, I can't remember if it was earlier this year or last year.
I think it was, a bunch of months back.
But yeah, of having you come in, I'm like, I finally got to meet him. What a cool dude, man.
And same here. You looked a lot different than how I envisioned you, but you look better than how I envisioned you. I thought you were like somebody different.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Well put together. So who the hell are you?
So born and raised Orange County, California.
Okay.
In the bubble.
Okay. Which part of OC?
Newport Beach.
All right.
So dad was a serial entrepreneur, started companies and would do a ton of stuff. So life was pretty cool. His biggest thing was he was a builder. So for me, my norm, I think I quit counting at our 22nd move by high school. So
move as in homes?
Yeah. So he would buy a home, fix it up, sell it. We'd move, buy another home, move
Fixer
out,
uppers.
fix it. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a strip. I think it's like from 52nd to 48th on the peninsula.
Yeah.
Just about every other house he built.
Yeah.
And so it was cool. Growing up, my backyard was a sand. So when people are like, oh, do you ever mow your yard? I'm like, how do you mow sand? How big's your backyard? Well, it's the Pacific Ocean. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. You're a beach boy.
Totally. Grew up surfing. And then exposed to this college, had no idea what I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. And so got an invitation to go over to school at Cambridge University in England.
Wow.
I've heard this Europe is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of it. Let's see what it's like. And so moved out there, went to school. I didn't get the accent. I wanted the accent.
Yeah. You brought your Newport Beach accent.
Yeah. Back then I had blonde hair. But just really was enamored by how much of this world is at our fingertips and how little I knew, and just learning from all these different people and places. So ended up coming back, and then still didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up.
Right.
And got an invitation actually, or someone told me about this thing called Semester C. And it's where you sail around the world, and while you're at the sea, you're in school learning. And then when you're at port, you get to go do stuff. So I'm gonna kind of bounce all over.
Yeah.
It was through Long Beach, and I worked for Red Bull at the time, just as a brand rep. And so I came up with this idea of going, what if I take Red Bull around the world? And so I pitch it to my boss. He pitches it to his boss. I don't know how many levels it goes up, but they're like, we love this.
Yeah.
Now this was back in 2002, so it wasn't iPhones and video cameras. It was the old still camera, not quite the crank, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I take video camera, I take another camera to a still camera, and we go to Cuba. So as an American citizen in 2002, we got to go into Cuba.
Right.
I actually got to meet Fidel Castro,
No.
which was crazy.
Really?
So they had a compound, and because we were students, they allow us to come in and to ask questions. And pure Fidel style, he answers 2 questions, and each question he answered for about 4.5 hours, just standing there, just talking. And so afterwards, he has us come back to his compound, and there's a band. It was really cool, but at a young age, like I was introduced to a way of life that it's like, there's so much to do and so much to live and to experience.
Yes.
And so that got me really excited, but I still did not know what I wanted to do.
You didn't have a purpose.
No. The purpose back then was, what girl am I going to meet and what am I going to drink?
Yeah.
So typical college guy, not even the frat thing. But so we get back. I end up starting a band. We end up getting a record deal.
What kind of music?
It's like rock and roll. People said it was like Guns N' Roses meets Foo Fighters. So I call it dirty rock.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Cleaner than grunge?
Yeah, not quite the Nirvana grunge scene.
Yeah.
More like rock and roll.
Like a Costa Mesa or Newport Beach garage band?
Sure, that works.
Because I remember there was some good bands back then.
Yeah. So we got to get wined and dined by a couple executives, and that was really cool. We thought we were the biggest thing, and so jumped into the studio to do an album. We were setting up a tour, and then this thing called Napster came out.
I remember Napster.
Started getting really big, and
so they were downloading your music?
no, not us, but the industry started to change. And then I believe, when did the first iPod came out?
I remember it was the early 2000s, I believe.
It was, but I remember it started to change. And so we had a distribution deal with Virgin and Tower.
Okay, so you were going big.
Well, that was the goal.
You were going to get signed.
Well, no, we were signed.
You were signed.
So we ended up signing with indie label. So we were friends. We played a couple shows around here with some bigger bands and became friends with one of the guys from Sugar Ray. And so we were talking with him, and he introduced us to this whole thing of like, here's how record deals work.
Yeah.
If your first one doesn't sell and they have a five album contract, you're shelved and you're screwed. And we're like, oh, well, we still own the music, right? No, they own everything.
They own you.
Yeah. And so we met a guy with an indie label. We did a deal on a handshake of just, look, I just want to be the silent fifth member.
Yeah.
So we were known for our live shows. We played House of Blues. We actually got banned from House of Blues. So we had a bartender on stage who would make drinks and blow fire. So we were just the party band.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the guy who booked us said, the one night we had you here and you blow fires, the night the owner's here. And he goes, we can't have you back anymore. I'm like,
that's why you got banned.
He goes, but I love your energy. I love the band.
Yeah.
So that was a cool phase of life that I really enjoyed. And then it just kind of fizzled out. Typical VH1 Where Are They Now story of, we're still friends, but
where are they now?
Yeah. But that kind of fizzled out.
And this was all in your 20s, right?
Yeah, this was early 20s, still no purpose. And that was when, like we were talking earlier, that was when depression really started to hit. And I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, man, I was born in Orange County. I've got everything I need. I don't get why it's so painful. And I just had this pain to the point where I became really hopeless. And I didn't know what the future held, and I couldn't see a future without pain. So
Now, during all this time, were you a substance abuser, user, drinker, anything?
no, so that's another story. Should we go down the next rabbit hole?
Talk to me. Tell me about it.
So my first encounter with drugs, I was 8 years old. So my aunt just got kicked out of rehab, and I had bunk beds in my room, and it was just my mom and my aunt. There's just two of them.
Yeah.
And so my mom said, "Listen, you can come live with us. I got one rule: you can't use drugs." And so she did the typical thing we didn't know back then. It wasn't me. I didn't know this guy I was dating was a dealer. He's not in my life anymore. It was all him, a misunderstanding. So, so our family, brand new to this, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I loved is, imagine 8 years old, and the fun, the big kid at heart, the outspoken aunt is staying with you. It's your roommate.
Yeah.
So I I don't remember how long she was with us, but it was so much fun of coming home from school and just seeing her and playing with her, and she was awesome. But one day, I remember coming home, and I'm sure the memory's distorted, but I remember walking into the room. I can still see it. There was thousands of pills strewn all over, and I remember taking steps, and I could feel the crunch underneath my feet, and she was lying, not in bed, but on the ground. Mm. And so I remember going up and shaking her, like, Aunt Steffi, wake up. And I don't know how to describe it other than, like, she was just moving, where I've tried to wake people up. I remember as a kid when they're asleep, like, Mom, wake up. And, like, they're there. It was really weird.
Yeah, like she was stiff.
Yeah, so there was something inside of me intuitively that's kind of like, something's up. So I find my mom, I grab her, she comes back, thankfully resuscitates her, but we find out that that's what an overdose is. And so my mom says, I love you, but we got to find another place for you to stay. Because I was 8, my sister at the time was 6. Yeah. And so she's like, I got 2 kids, you could have just killed them.
Right.
And so it was only a few months later, I think she's living in Huntington Beach, and then that's when we got the call. That same thing happened, but there was nobody there to find her, resuscitate her. So one of my earliest core memories, and I didn't remember this for the longest time until I started actually going to therapy of trying to figure out, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so broken?
Yeah.
But that was one of the memories that came up of just getting, like, terrified of drugs. So I never even touched a drug.
Yeah. You already had that fear instilled within you.
Yeah. So imagine
PTSD.
I'm scared and terrified to try drugs.
Yeah.
I'm depressed and suicidal. The band breaks up. I don't know what I want to do. I have no purpose. And I'm like, well, what the hell?
Yeah.
The thing is I was lacking purpose. And I thought, as I started to get more involved with other people in the program, that drugs and alcohol were the problem, but those are the symptoms that actually are on top of this trauma.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, if I deal with the trauma, what does that look like? And so I started going really deep with therapists and all sorts of things.
This is in your 20s too?
Yeah, this was right around the time the band broke up, was suicidal, and I couldn't go through with it.
Yeah.
Like that's where you talk about, so I had a huge fear of failure. You talk about an ironic time in life where you're saying, I feel like such a failure, I can't go on living, but I'm such a failure, I can't even take my own life.
I've felt that before.
Yeah.
I thought if I attempted to, I might fail at doing that, be shacked up in some hospital after trying to jump off a cliff and be paraplegic and be like, I even screwed that one up.
Yep.
So I just won't do it.
So I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was in this self-built prison, self-incarcerated. And so as I started to finally get help and started to heal through some of these traumatic memories, like life started to feel lighter and brighter, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then that was when I started getting into helping people with drug addiction. And I thought, man, when
was that? 30s?
No, still 20s. All this happened over from like when the band broke up to suicidal depression to getting help. Probably was over like a 3 to 6 month process. Like, man, shit hit the fan hard.
Right.
But as I started dealing with the trauma, I thought, this is so incredible. Like, they don't teach this in school. And so as I started getting into the mental health and recovery world, I thought, what if we address the actual core issue as opposed to the symptomology of what we use to mask or to sedate.
As in,
Drugs,
let's
alcohol,
not
women.
fixate and focus on the substances.
Yeah.
Let's go deeper.
And so as I started to get more educated and just, I've never been afraid to ask the dumb questions. That's one of the things that it's so funny. What I thought was a liability all through school.
Yeah.
Like I'd be the guy in college, like, excuse me, professor, what about this? And you can hear everybody in the back like, oh gosh, this guy.
Yeah. Here he goes with his questions.
Yeah, but it's like, I learned at about a 4th grade level.
Yeah.
If I can have someone come down on my level and explain it, I'm like, okay, I got it now. And it never goes away. So I've had to kind of train people to come down, like, just teach me like 4th grader. And when they do, I'm like, got it, thank you. So in college going, I don't, can you dumb it down for me? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And some professors would dumb it down enough. I'm like, this is amazing. And so that carried over into really mental health and addiction stuff. I'm like, I don't understand like all the medical terminology. But when I get down here and I look at what is the core issue, let's deal with the core. I call it the core lie.
Yeah.
When we deal with the core lie, we actually bring it out. So look at it this way. So my beliefs and my stories create my identity of who I am.
Sure.
When I keep that in here, I can't challenge it, because if you challenge one of my stories or beliefs, now you're attacking me and self-preservation kicks in, right?
You're speaking my language, brother.
Well, it took me a while to figure this out. So what I've had to learn how to do is, how do I temporarily suspend my beliefs and identity and these stories to challenge them, because now it's no longer who I am, but it's just a part of me.
Right.
Now we can go and break down the flaws in it and ask a simple question. Is this story true? Is this belief true? And then I can go ahead and decide. And then if I don't agree with it, I can say, I'm going to put it back in.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I bring it out and going, wow, I believe this because it was just passed down to me. Whether a teacher said, you know, well, you're not smart, you won't amount to anything, or a friend's like, dude, you're worthless, whatever it is. Like I had these core stories and beliefs. So as I started bringing it out, did the work, bring it back in, I'm like, I actually kind of like who I am. It's so interesting looking back to where I hated who I was so much. I was willing to end that person. And now I'm like, I love who I am so much. Like, how do I give this love? Because love is infinite.
Where do you think the hate stemmed from?
You know what? I don't know where I picked it up from, but somewhere I found it and just started. I think it's just a normal human quality.
Yeah.
Like every single person I've ever met, when they finally open up, they're like, yeah, at times I feel I'm either worthless or not worthy or not lovable. And
Self-hatred.
It's like, yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. So the intent behind that is preservation. If we go all the way back to the caveman days, it's kind of like fight or flight. And so as I started understanding this stuff, I'm going, I'm not broken. It's just the way the human psyche works. And as I no longer tie to this and say, this is who I am and I'm broken. And that's the other part, is speaking openly about this stuff. That's why I love the whole Recover Out Loud movement.
Yeah.
As people are sharing openly, you're getting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of me too.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like
Relatable, because people aren't afraid to talk about it.
well, yeah, when we keep it in silence, that's when we're suffering, because we think we're such a screw up.
Yeah.
But then we start sharing our story. Other people are like, yeah, me too, man. This
all
is
of us.
This is part of being a human being. It's like, well, that part sucked. They didn't tell me. I didn't see that on the warranty.
Yeah. Very well said. So you said that you started working with other addicts and alcoholics and going deeper. Where'd they come from? How'd they get into your path?
So when I was overseas, my dad, so basically my grandparents owned a duplex in Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
And they wanted to give back. They were retired. They felt the calling and said, we're going to give back. So at the time, there was only I think it was the Sheepfold in Santa Ana, Battered Women and Children's Shelter. So my grandparents said, this is what we're feeling called to do. My dad being a builder, they said, will you build this up? And the idea was, a family lives upstairs, the mom has her own room, and then the kids have their room, and then same thing downstairs. And it was this wonderful thing to give back. And so about halfway through the build, the door and windows guy that knew my dad said, you ever thought about helping people in the program? And my dad looked at him and said, so, you know, my paternal grandfather was a Southern Baptist minister, started churches, did different things. So my dad's memories were they would preach on Sunday, bring in the husbands that were drinking to help get them sober to go get back to work on Monday. So he's like, I don't want to be around that.
Yeah.
Like, why would you even ask me that? He goes, I just think you could help more people that way. There's a lot of people that need help. Not that.
This is the window fixer guy? Just said this stuff?
Yeah. And so I wish my dad was here to tell the story, because he tells it so much better.
No, I liked hearing it from you.
He's like, you know what? He's like, I'll talk to my wife and she'll shoot this down real quick. And he goes, for the first time in my marriage, I bring this up and she says, whatever you think is best, dear, I will support 100%. And he goes, that's when I knew I was recruited by the guy upstairs. He's like, I fought it for the longest time and I just kept feeling like every direction led. And so he goes, we got to figure out how to do this. And so that was where for the first, like you talk about a business standpoint, like every mistake made, we didn't have a telephone. Like there was no name back then. Just a former police officer from New York came down. He's like, I've ran a couple sober living homes. I'm here to help. So we were actually called Frank's Place for the first year or two because
who's Frank?
Frank was the former cop from New York that came down to just go ahead and kind of manage it to make sure everyone was getting the help that they need.
Wow.
And so that was when I came back, the band broke up, where I thought, you know what, maybe let's give this a shot.
So what was it? Was it in the beginning a sober living?
So started as a sober living in the year 2000.
Okay.
So we just hit quarter of a century this year, which is wild.
Right.
But started as a sober living. And then when I came in, again, back then I was a kid, being the kid that wasn't afraid of the dumb questions.
Yes.
Would see a person drink and I'm like, I don't get it. Why'd you drink? And he's like, well, it's your fault. I'm like, oh crap. Okay. Why? You didn't breathalyze me when I came home last night. Well, would that help? Yeah. So we started talking with people and we started bringing in breathalyzers and we just basically, I didn't know this at the time, reverse engineer, but just kept finding where people were struggling and then creating solutions for the problem. And then back then there was no such thing as outpatient.
Yeah.
And so we'd bring in therapists, coaches, different things. And we started seeing the people flourish that were meeting with the individuals and actually doing what we call the work. We're like, oh. And so that was where eventually, I don't know what year it was, but all of a sudden outpatient started being something that was accepted and you had to go through a certification process. We said, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because we're getting really good results. And so that's where we started doing that.
And was it a mixed population or was it men only or what was it?
No, we have gender specific housing. So we have women's housing and men's housing. So we would help both of them.
And these were the duplexes that you originally started in?
Yeah, in Costa Mesa, those were the duplexes that started all back in 2000. And then from there, again, just continuing to ask questions. So we start doing the outpatient, going great. We'd have people come from inpatient treatment. We say, okay, what things have you learned? Let's talk about what your therapist has gone over with you. And they're like, dude, I saw my therapist once. We're like, wait, what? And so that was where I start talking with my dad. I'm just kind of like,
You needed to build on some components so people can get more clinical therapeutic.
Well, yeah. And so that's
assistance.
where I'm like, what if we started doing something like this where we really help the soul?
Right.
Because that was the part that I saw is a lot of these places were addressing the physical addiction, but really not getting to the core. So we'd see people get good for a little bit and then relapse, and then get good for a little bit and relapse. I'm kind of like, man, that's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, we got to do more than this.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if you got a cancer inside you, it's like if you're masking it and the symptoms go away, like, I'm fine, but it keeps coming back. It's like, what if we find the cancer and we help like cut it out?
Yeah.
And make sure that you're healing and taking care of yourself and living a lifestyle that you're not breeding more cancer. And so as we started doing that, that's when we started doing inpatient. We started getting really good results.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, people, same thing happened, coming from detox. What things did you go over in therapy? Oh, bro, I've been watching Netflix and chill for the last 14 days. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And so that was where, talking with Senior, I'm like, what if we actually brought him in and said, we're going to invite you to therapy and groups from the moment you get in. It's an invitation, not an obligation. So if someone does need the physical part, a few days just to kind of get their legs back, but eventually it's like, how fast do you want to start doing the work? And so we started doing that. We saw people healing within the first couple weeks.
Right.
Like, this is awesome. And then right before, I think it was right before COVID, is where I found out about this thing called Zoom. I'm like, what if we actually help bridge the gap back? Because we started learning that it's easy to stay sober in the bubble. When you get back home to your environment, that's where the real work starts.
Right.
And so we'd keep in touch and do follow-up stuff, but I'm like, what if we actually made it where it's a community coming together 2-3 times a week, and it's self-reflection.
You mean like once they've gone back home, but they're still coming on Zoom to be part of the original community?
And so we built that out, and we started getting such amazing results of hearing individual stories of like, last night, I was driving to the liquor store and I thought, I gotta be on this call tomorrow So maybe I'll just use tomorrow after the call.
Yeah, let's just keep today.
Well, and that's what was beautiful is they came on and they self-surrendered this information. And so we're able to break it down and to help them process it just through asking some questions. They're like, wow. And now they're exposing some more of this, again, stories and beliefs and ideology to be able to pull out, to question, and then say, gosh, I feel a little bit more whole today. Thank you. And they bring it back in.
Right.
And so that's now we do everything from detoxification services to inpatient to outpatient.
It's a full center now. You went, and around what time did you make it in? Did you bring the detox component in?
I want to say, let's see, sober living from 2004 or 3. And then we started doing outpatient around 3 to 5 maybe. And probably around 2008.
Okay.
Maybe is where we started.
And it's called, now you put a name on.
Yes, we're Pacific Shores Recovery.
Some people call it Pack Shores.
That's who we are.
Pacific
Yeah,
Shores.
Pack Shores, the P Shore.
And how did you guys come up with that name?
That is my dad. I still don't actually know the theory behind that. I think it was just Pacific Ocean. We're near the shores, and that's recovery. Let's put it together.
It's a great name.
Yeah, thank you.
And I've known about you guys for years because I've had friends that have gone through your program, and they've totally turned into miracles.
Yeah, so one of the coolest things about doing this is what gets me so excited is we've seen people come through our program do so well, and then they go and start their own program.
Yes.
And so there's programs all over Southern California, even different states where they're alumni, and I'm like, dude,
They were a product
you
of Pack
found your
Shores.
purpose.
Yeah.
Well, not just us, but like they found their purpose of going through the pain of the hurt. And then the healing, and now they're actually helping. Like that to me is the ultimate win, is where one person's life is so positively impacted that they go and want to impact as many as they can.
It's like butterfly effect.
Yeah, and if
The purpose just expands.
Imagine if we all did that to say, how can I take care of me for you so I can make your life a little bit better today? And we all had that mindset.
Well, that's that's what we both. I feel that's what our purpose is in life now. You were purposeless in your 20s. I was majorly purposeless, right? But there was always a little something in my head, intuition, God consciousness, something in my head that said, I'm not supposed to be living like this. I love to help people, but I won't be able to do it unless I help myself first the right way to get to the point of helping. Like there was always something within me where I thought, I want to help. I want to help, and I don't know why I'm so stuck. Oh, for me it was the drugs. For you it was the depression.
Yeah.
Right?
I felt like I was meant for more.
Oh, I love that. Well, I was going to ask you this. I know that you're very active still to this day with a lot of the people that come through Pacific Shores by groups and such. Along the way, you wrote a book.
I did.
Here's the book right here.
Yeah.
This is The Recovery Way.
How to heal from any addiction and start enjoying life again.
And when did you write this?
So I wrote it in, I think, 2022, and then it came out 2023, I believe. So it's been a few years.
And why did you write it?
So that's another funny story of being called to something.
Yeah.
So we teach things a little bit different at our center, and we'd have so many clients that would just say like, man, you should write a book. Like it's so like the way you simplify things, like it's easy, stupid.
Yeah. I mean, there's questions there like, how much do you weigh? What do you look like naked? Again, removing any guilt or shame. So these are all the things that sounds like.
The one page let's talk about nudity. The one page you go to.
What we go through, what we think about, the psyche, the negative self-talk, and how to be able to break through that. So the purpose of the book was for you to use it do you use it in groups?
Well, so the original purpose, I had no idea what it was. Enough people kept saying, man, you should write a book. This information is too good.
Valuable.
Yeah, is too valuable. And my thing is we're a small center, like mom and pops totally. Like our inpatient center, still to this day. We have not grown because our whole goal is I want to have lasting impact and go as deep as we can with our individuals instead of expanding so big.
So when you keep it small, you keep it intimate, and you get to just work with a small amount of milieu of people that's more compact.
Yeah, to get to really.
It's like the private
really
school of rehab.
There you go. The private school with the snobs of rehab. And so person after person kept saying that, and I thought, so here's what came up for me when you asked that. The moment, and I remember this now, the moment is a person came in and said, "You guys are the best kept secret." And I thought, I don't want to be a secret.
You want to get it out there.
What would it look like to be able to make an impact in a way that something, the framework is very simple to follow, and that I could help anybody, whether they're in our center or not. And so after enough people kept saying, "You got to write a book, got to write a book." Every year I do it's a full day little disconnect. I call it communion with Christ. I told you earlier.
Yeah.
And I just sit down and say, "Okay, God, what do you want me to do? How are you going to use me for this upcoming year?"
Yeah.
And I want to say it was 2021 was when it was, okay, I already wake up pretty early. You're going to wake up an hour earlier, and that 1 hour you're going to be with me, and we're just going to write. And I was like, okay, God, that's funny, because I'm not a writer. I can barely even speak.
Yeah.
Right? And so just in faith, I said, okay. And when I sat down, there were some days where, like, literally, I think I hit a dot to say at least, okay, there's a period, I did something. And other days it would just flow like 5, 10, 15 pages. And I would read it back, and some days be like, well, that's crap. And other days going, okay, that's not me. Like that is so deep, that hits. And there's a few times where I'm like on my keyboard crying, reading back and going, I don't even remember writing that. That's not me. And so after 365 hours of staying true to this commitment, I had this huge manuscript. And then the way that I like doing things is I like trying things on either myself first or in small groups.
Yeah.
If that works, then bringing it to a select group in the center. If that works, then we adopt it into the center. And so took it to a lot of people and started seeing themes. Okay, this doesn't make sense. This is great. You need to put this at the beginning, not here. And so I just started kind of changing it. And then same thing, rinse, repeat. Got really good feedback. Brought it into the center. Got really good feedback and thought, cool, this is it. So went ahead and put it on Amazon and started shipping it out.
So this book can be found on Amazon.
Yeah.
For those that are watching this, I actually have a copy of this book, and I love it. And I think it's a wonderful book, very well put together.
Thank you.
And just because you're such a valuable human being and just a good friend, I really implore you to get the book and check it out. It's like for personal self-development. It's there. It's excellent, right?
Yeah, thank you.
So I have questions that were presented to me by the producer, and I wanted to ask you these questions.
I love it.
And I know that you're really good at answering questions. So what's the biggest myth about addiction recovery?
The biggest myth about addiction recovery is thinking it's something you did as opposed to something you do. Every single day, if I am willing to collide with my stories and my beliefs, now I can begin to grow into the person that I was meant to become and the person that I end up loving. But it takes that tension and collision, which most of us, it's that reptilian part of the brain we avoid because we think it's going to kill us. But it actually, through the pain, is where you find the peace and the purpose.
Okay, I love it. How do you help someone who doesn't want help?
Oh, so, okay.
The resistant ones.
The version of me for probably the first 10 to 15 years of doing this, I would say you just keep going and going and just keep like shucking and jiving and then sometimes shaking and hug.
Yeah.
And like, it's the grind, right? And it's only been maybe the last 7 or 8 years. And this has been the hardest part, especially when it comes to own family, is learning how to be okay with leaving someone where they are. Here's what I mean by that. Of cutting off and holding boundaries of money, enabling different things, but never cutting off the love. So that's what a lot of people we find when we help with interventions.
This is an intervention technique.
Yeah, well, and that's where a lot of people misconstrue, oh, I'm going to hold a boundary. Like, it's so funny when boundaries became this huge buzzword. It's like, no. Setting a boundary is really easy. It's holding it that's so difficult.
Yes.
And so it's not withholding the love. It's saying, I will love you regardless of whether you continue to use or not. My love is unconditional for you. That's the beauty of family.
Yeah.
However, of allowing the consequences to fall on the person is the most difficult thing, because it's like I have the knowledge to help every single person. I truly believe that. The hardest thing is going like, let me give you this gift. And the person going, screw you, I don't want your gift. I'm like, no, but it's a gift.
Yeah.
Please take it.
Yeah.
And being okay with someone saying, I don't want your gift right now, and going,
No problem.
okay.
No worries.
But it's so hard doing that, especially when you're emotionally involved.
I know. And you know what? I think the same was with me, because I've been personally working in the field 18 plus years, sober 18 plus years. And I used to really, really try to squeeze blood from a turnip, but you just can't. Sometimes you got to meet people where they're at and let them be where they're at.
And so where it's carried over now is I have a teenager and another teenager who's going to be a teenager in a few months.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing is being there to love them, but being okay with them not wanting the help.
Especially teens these days, maybe even back in those days, teens got to be teens, and they're going to be limited in what kind of help they want.
Yeah, but it's so tough, right? Because you're like, I see the answer and I see where you're causing yourself pain.
Yeah.
Can dad come in and help? No. And so just sitting there and saying, I'm here when you're ready. I love you so much. And just watching them hit the wall, you're like, I love you.
Just letting them have their own experience.
It's so tough.
Learning
So
experience.
tough.
Yeah. What's the first step to rewiring the brain after addiction?
I love this question because that's really what we go into in depth in the book, is because one of the things is everything's conditioned. I didn't realize that for the longest time. So again, going back to the stories, the beliefs, it's all been conditioned and handed down to us.
Yes.
Most of the times we've never questioned it. We accept it as truth because it feels true. So understanding that everything is conditioned, there's a positive and a negative for that. If I've conditioned this automatic response system, as soon as I feel stress, trauma, pain, anger, depression, rage, whatever it is, and I go to drinking or using, that creates a neural pathway that is the path of least resistance.
Yes.
So every time it happens, the brain goes, I know what to do. And it works instantaneous at a very high level. This is why addiction is so difficult, especially in the beginning stages.
Yes.
We've wired our brain this way. So as soon as we create a gap in that wiring, we got to start now giving it a new path. And this is where conditioning with, it's pretty funny because I've seen it nowadays where I've got some friends that they're like 4-hour morning routine. I sauna and then I work out and then a cold plunge, and all that is great, but it's kind of like, what works for you of going and putting yourself in this time and tension? And that's what I came up with, the 5 foundational freedoms. So there's 5 areas of life. If I just do a little bit of work each day in each area, we continually expand our world, and then it continues to grow. It's we call it hitting daily singles. When people get up, everybody wants to be the Babe Ruth, right? Point and hit the home run.
Yeah.
But almost everybody strikes out, and if you get 3 strikes in a row, you don't even get to play until the next one. So that's why it's like we just go for singles. Don't swing for the fences. It's tempting as hell. But if you just hit a single, you get a person on first, and this is where trust in the process really works. You get on first, like, look at the scoreboard. There's nothing. Patience, trust the process.
Yes.
Next person comes up, just a single. It's not working. Look at the scoreboard. It still says 0. I know this is part of the process.
Yes.
Do you trust the process? Yes, I do. This is where most people stop. Third person. So now bases are loaded, but they'll look at the scoreboard like, this is dumb, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you trust the process, give it some time, it works every time without fail.
No, you're
And so
right.
what happens is the fourth person comes up, hits a single, and now there's 1 run on the scoreboard. And here's what most people miss. And I love this analogy of baseball. Did you know that if you continue to score, you can go to perpetuity? You never have to sit on the bench.
Wow.
So most people screw up by trying to hit home runs or different things, or they forget to go and bat that day. So that's why it's just hitting small daily singles over the 5 foundational freedoms. We call them first fruits. My 5 to thrive. I take care of me. And when I do that, what happens is it retrains and it rewires the brain. And now all of a sudden, because I'm challenging these stories, these beliefs, I start to think differently. I start to feel differently. And when I feel better, I tend to make better decisions.
Beautiful. Can someone recover without hitting rock bottom?
Oh, absolutely. So rock bottom, I don't know about you. My rock bottoms in my life when depression hit, there was a basement to the bottom.
I mean, I have a theory that I've learned throughout my recovery process that every bottom has a trap door.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of rock bottoms that I hit throughout my life that were more of the physical sense. Jails, institutions, homelessness, these should all be seen as rock bottom. But for some reason, I still wasn't getting well.
Yeah.
But the spiritual bottom.
Yeah. Well, and some people can even fight the spiritual bottom too. So
But I think in this sense where it's saying, can someone recover without hitting rock bottom, meaning losing everything?
yeah. So for some reason, we're wired as human beings where it takes incredible amounts of pain to change behavior. When I recognize that, that's where, so we've had a lot of people come through the program that didn't hit rock bottom.
Right. They didn't lose everything.
So correct. And that's where when people say, you got to hit rock bottom to change, I'm like, well, a lot of people do, but you don't have to. If we start challenging that belief, we can actually get help. It's like if I've got to, actually, here's an example. I remember when I was a kid, we were at Hawaii on vacation and I stepped on coral. And I didn't think anything of it. And I remember like by day 2, maybe, I remember this red line was going up and I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And so my parents saw this red line, and my mom, being intuitive, rushes me to the hospital. They start antibiotics right away and said, "It is so good you came." Once that red line, I think, goes above a certain part, it hits whatever veins there and goes straight to the heart, and you die.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, the reason why I say that is because my mom saw the line, not rock bottom, but saw this line and said, well, what if we intervene here? And if we would have seen it back here, we could have intervened here. So understanding that analogy, we don't have to wait until it's too late. As soon as we start seeing the signs, we can go ahead and jump in to get help to change.
What's the difference between sobriety and true healing?
Oh, this is a good one. I like your questions. Thank you, producer, by the way. So I think a lot of people come in looking for sobriety, and that just means no more physically dependent or using the drug or alcohol or whatever the choice of sedation is. See, a lot of people, if they don't do the work, that brain still says this is the path to go back to, so they go right back. So there's a huge difference between sobriety or recovery and truly healing at the core of creating a life you no longer want to sedate or even retire from.
I love it. I love it. Why do most people relapse, and how do you prevent it?
So there's a myriad of reasons why an individual relapses. Typically, it's because they're not doing the daily work. So we see a lot of people that do the daily work 60, 90 days, even a year, and they're like, this is so great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the work, and I'm just going to enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they don't have the fruits of the labor because they stopped doing the work. So the analogy I like is, imagine if you just walked off one day from the job and you come back a month later and said, I'd like to get paid for this last month. Everyone I asked that to, I'm like, what would your boss say? I've gotten all answers of, they would laugh at me. They'd say, get out of here, schmuck, like whatever it is. I'm like, well, but why wouldn't they pay you? And every single time it's the same answer, because I didn't do the work. Recovery is the same way. If I don't do the work and I'm expecting the result, there's a disconnect there. So by doing the daily work, again, going back to what I call the first fruits, when I do the daily work, hitting that daily single, it allows me to continue to enjoy the fruits from the work that I do. As soon as I stop doing the work, the fruit may last a little bit. There is something called lag time, but it's like I don't allow more than 2 days to go in lag time where I jump back in and go, I got to keep doing the work. Whether I feel like it or not, I'm doing the work.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. What role does family play in recovery?
Family is so important. So when you asked me that, a story came to my mind. One of my earlier mentors in AA, his name was Dan. He was the first person to take me through the steps. Was an amazing, amazing man. Everybody that came in contact with him loved him. Like, he's just one of those guys that he would say something that was so wise and like penetrate your soul.
Yeah.
And after working with him for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, something came up with him. We took him to the hospital, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And he confided in me. He said, like, everything that I've done, he said, the one thing that I regret is I never reached back out to my daughter to apologize, to forgive, to ask for forgiveness.
To make amends.
Yeah, and I was sitting there, and that part hit me so hard because I thought, man, in my eyes, he was like one of the coolest, like most impactful people I've ever met.
But he was holding something that was messing with his own head.
Well, and that was where, like, he was going to die with a regret. Unfortunately, something inside of him, he reached out, and I remember
Before he passed.
Yeah, his daughter came out, and his ex-wife, and they just had this beautiful time together. And he called me that night, so I went down to the VA at Long Beach and visited him. He goes, I'm whole again.
I love that.
And so the reason why that stuck out to me is, of course, when we're met with mortality, we look to see, like, is my life really worthy of a calling?
Complete.
And I was giving so much to total strangers in our program and giving my family the leftovers. And so that was a moment. It was around 2009, I think, somewhere around there. At that time, I had my daughter. My son hadn't, or my daughter was born in 2010. That's when it was.
Yeah.
And I just remember of like, I don't want to make the same mistake, because you can impact the world, but if it's at the expense of your own family, then you're still going to die with a regret.
You just turned a light on in my head. I know what I need to do today.
Yeah, well, and so that's where one of the stories. There's another one I won't get into it now, but one of the stories of why every single day part of my first fruits is I reach out to either family or friends, people that I admire, respect, love, appreciate, and I send them a message, whether it's a text, a video, an email.
I love it.
I did a facsimile one time just to see if that even still worked. That's fax machine for people watching this going, what the hell is that? But I made a decision back then. I don't ever want something to happen to me and nobody knows what they mean to me in my life. And so that has helped.
You leave that with them, that they mean a lot to you, and you've always
Every single
followed
day.
up with them.
So what's crazy is I still remember the first time I texted my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that text she printed out and it's still on the hall. That was one of the first people I reached out to with this new mindset of going, I want people to know what I love about them and respect. And so I remember I told my mom, like, Mom, I said, I am so sorry. And this is all via text. I said, now that I have a child, I know I will never be capable to love you as much as you love me. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. And I'm so thankful that you're my mom. Mm-hmm. And like, I even feel it right now. It's like I feel connected. And just by honoring that, I choose two people a day. And by honoring that, like, I feel connected, so deeply connected. And that's what I was starved for before. When I was depressed, I was isolating and pushing away. And it's like, man, addiction's isolation. That means community's connection. Mm-hmm. And the more I connect, the more love I can feel. And love is infinite. And as I understand that, I don't have to hold on to it like a stingy, scarce person. I could be like, I feel like Oprah, you get love, just throwing it out. I'm like, I enjoy who I am and the quality of life so much more when I get to give this way.
Wow, that was so meaningful. It means so much to me to hear that. And I know the way that you love your family. I love my family too, but I feel after hearing this, it made me think, after we're done today, I need to go say hi to Mom and give her a big hug and just like cherish the moment.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You mentioned something though, just real quick. You didn't do drugs and alcohol, but you suffered from depression. Mm-hmm. But you talked about the first time you did steps with this gentleman, Frank, was it?
Dan,
and 12 steps with Dan. Why did you do the 12 steps?
So here's the beautiful thing is, as I got more and more friends in recovery, as you get to know each other, they don't pull the punches and they go, Mark, like, I thought you were kind of talking down and being modest. I remember one of my friends like, you really are an idiot. And I'm like, that's a term of endearment. Explain. He goes, using's fun in the first part. He goes, you missed all the fun stuff and went right to the consequences of depression and suicide. He's like, man. And I was laughing so hard. I'm like, I never thought of it that way. And so that was kind of like the first time I was like, dude, you're one of us.
Yeah. And the 12 steps can apply to any human being.
Well, and that was where Dan was one of the first people to challenge. He said, you said you found your purpose. You're helping people in recovery. You don't even know what the 12 steps are.
It would be good to know.
Well, yeah, he goes, can I run you through them?
That's wonderful.
And again, my ignorance was kind of like, well, I don't need to understand the steps because of this. And he goes, let me just share with you what they are. Step 1, powerless, God. And I'm like, ooh.
I like that.
That's kind of cool. And as he starts going through, I remember asking this, I'm like, why don't they teach this in high school? Like, to me, this has nothing.
See, that's cool. You say step 1, God. Like, for the average person that has had an experience or lack thereof with or without God or is anti-God, they hear that like, nope, no God for me. You liked it.
I did. Well, here's the part, and I love it because a lot of people come in challenged with the whole God and deity mindset. I'm like, if you were to call me Frank, I still know I'm Mark.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you call me. I'll still be like, bro, I still love you. We'll still do this, and you can keep calling me the wrong name. It doesn't affect what I think about myself.
Yes.
So when people are like, I don't refer to God as God. I refer to this love or emotions. Like, great, whatever it is.
Creative intelligence.
Yeah, there's something outside of ourselves. When I'm the center of my universe, I am so depressed.
Yeah.
Life is so painful when I am the center and it is a me-driven world. When I can flip that and say, I am not the center, something else is the center. And if I continue to go to that, to be used for good, to be motivated, inspired, and to help other people, for some reason, I feel better when I give than when I'm trying to take from people.
I love it.
And so that's where it's like, you know what? Just keep asking God, whatever you are, he, she, it, reveal yourself to me. And this is what we take clients who are open to it through, is to say, you don't have to say, okay, the God, big G, little g, whatever it is, just, I want to have an intimate relationship with you. What are you? Reveal yourself to me. And what we find is when a person really wants to ask, there's a quote, knock or ask and you shall receive, knock and the door will be open.
Yes.
And when you knock, the door's open. Like, this is what God is. I thought I had to go to this specific church with this denomination and do this type of Hail Mary. It's kind of like, just ask God, God, what do you want me to do? And for some reason, when we create the space to hear that voice, that's the other problem. Most people won't sit in silence to create the space to have that intimate conversation, because that impulsivity, the scrolling, whatever it is. So that's part of, again, the first fruits is sitting every single day in silence and just having that time with my Creator going, how can you use me today?
Same.
Yeah.
I understand that. How do you break the cycle of self-sabotage?
Oh, I don't know if it ever stops, to be completely transparent.
Yeah.
I find even when I'm on fire and doing well, there's a part of me that still shows up and just screws it all up. So I think the biggest thing is just being open, by being aware of trying to stay as an open conduit as possible to be used, knowing that I'm going to keep getting in the way. So here's why I say this. It took me a while to understand I am the only one that creates pain in my life. Mm-hmm. It's me. Every single pain I have experienced in my life, I have created because of the stories and the beliefs around what should or shouldn't have happened. Again, playing God.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, if I create the pain, that means I can actually sit in the pain and learn something from it instead of turn it into suffering. And then through changed behavior, I can experience pain in different areas. So this is where this may be a little bit of a game changer. It was for me. So depression, I got really good at stuffing it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I was taught, but it's just like, if you stuff it, you don't feel it, it goes away. So I became a really good stuffer.
Yeah.
But everything has a capacity. I didn't know that until one day it exploded. And I wish I could say, oh, it's with some random stranger, beat the crap out of them, never saw. No, it's my wife, my kids, it's people I care the most about that starts to come out. And so by understanding this, by going to war with myself, this is what I recognized one day. I gave my depression a voice. By the way, his name is Hal. No clue why. One of my mentors walked me through and he's like, oh, of course it's Hal, you shallow bastard. I'm like, oh, that's too good. I can't make this up. Yeah. But I remember I was in the shower, just started feeling super depressed, crying. I finally said, what is it that you're wanting me to know? And that question changed my life. My depression told me, I see you. I'm looking in through the window at your house, and I see all these emotions at the table, and you're loving on them. I see joy, I see ecstasy, I see fulfillment, I see laughter, I see all these beautiful emotions, and you're not letting me in. I just want a seat at the table. And that was the first point where I went, I've never given my depression a voice. I labeled it as bad and wrong and stuffed it. And as I started to actually experience it and just say, I just want you to know I'm here to hold you and love you and not judge you. You have a seat at the table. My depression, the relationship completely changed. I don't know how to explain it.
I understand that.
It's beautiful.
I was a depressive fool. Mm-hmm. Never diagnosed, but totally manic depressive. And that's the reason I used drugs, was to overcome the depression, but it was temporary. I had to just keep using more and more to not be depressed. Although I was using depressants.
Yeah, go figure.
And stimulants. What inspired you to create the Pacific Shores app?
Oh, okay. So the Pacific Shores app, I noticed when people were coming in, we'd get people at all different times. So we don't run cohorts. It's like we've got a person coming in today. We had one coming in earlier this week. So people are coming from all over. We've got our doctors, our psychiatrists, the therapists. We've got a wonderful team. But what I noticed is this was a while ago, if a client would come in and get a certain therapist and a certain case manager, they would have a certain experience.
Yes.
If another person came in, and the reason why I started looking at this is I do follow-up calls. And I remember two people came in within like a day or two of each other. They had the same therapist, same case manager. One was doing awesome, one was struggling. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, you came at the same time, you had the same experience. And so this is where their inherent experience has part to do with it. But I thought, well, what if we're able to make some changes and actually have something? So I think it was 2018. Well, I don't know. It's irrelevant. But whenever it was, the idea was I wanted to create a 90-day program.
Yeah.
That when a person comes in, regardless of when they come in, they all start at day one, and it's complementary to the in-depth, individualized treatment that they get while they're with us. And so that was the original goal, day 1 through 90, with different experiences. At day 7, different evolutions. And I actually ended up doing it for myself. It was such an amazing experience, like total transformational. And so that was where ran a small group through it, worked very well. And then that was where I thought, well, what if we made it available so they don't have to come through the center? But if anybody wanted to do it even on their own,
To continue it through the app.
yeah, they're able to do it through the app. And then that's where we started running some beta tests, and some people started doing really well and said, you know what, I really like this, but I love the dual tool, and that's not introduced until later. What if you had a part for that? So we actually have the dual tool where you can go into the app, you can either do the dual tool, you can go through all 90 days, and then that created what's called recovery chat. That's the actual tension and collision with the ego. And every single day, that's what really transformed me. I would go through, and it's just a series of questions, and depending on how you answer, it goes different routes. And as you answer these questions, it starts to reveal things from a perspective that you may not have seen, because, again, I create all the pain in my life. I was such a good victim. I could probably blame you for some of the stuff in my life that
Yes.
sucked. I would blame everybody else other than myself. And so learning these tools, going through this, it helped transform me. And that's where, once I started bringing it to different people, almost every single person's like, Mark, I've never seen anything like this. This is insane. It's like you are talking with your ego, but then also the healthier part, and they're challenging each other and then bringing to you, you get to make the decision afterwards.
I love it.
And so real quick, if I can, so
Yeah.
now with ChatGPT, because the one thing is the app I made static,
Yeah.
but I actually, and this is new, so I'll give it to your viewers if they want. I created a master prompt. It took a while to figure out, where it kind of takes my work, but it blends it with some of the other modalities that actually really helps.
Yeah.
And I finally figured it out. I made a master prompt for the recovery chat that anybody can use in their ChatGPT with this prompt. And the results we're getting are insane. So for anyone listening, do you mind if I give it to your,
I don't
to your
mind at
viewers?
all.
So you can just follow me at Pacific Shores Recovery and just DM me recovery prompt. And what I'll do is I will go ahead. It's just a little document you can copy and paste in your ChatGPT. It is yours, my gift.
I love that. I was actually going to ask how people can find you if they do, and you just said it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's just the freebie for you guys. If someone does need help, PacificShoresRecovery.com is our website. But yeah, so that's how the app came to be. And so now it's the 90-day program with the dual tool and the recovery chat.
Okay. I've got a couple of questions from people online because I put some energy out there and told people about you. So some of them did some research, and we've got this person from social media, TikTok, remaining agnostic. They said, here's the question. Do you know what imposter syndrome is? And if so, do you still experience this?
Oh, another good question. This is part of the human experience. And so in 2015, I got introduced to this whole kind of self-help guidance and different things. And there's all these like little cohorts all over. So I've joined with actually been coached by probably a lot of people that you would know of. And every single one, I've asked something similar, like, I still deal with it. There's still the part of the brain that's like, you're an imposter, you're not good enough, even though they actually create some of the stuff that as a world we're doing.
Yeah.
And so when I started recognizing that and seeing the pattern, I'm like, well, this is just part of being a human being. And just because I have the thought doesn't mean I have to hold on to it and ingrain it. So when that part comes up, you're an imposter, you can say, well, okay, let's have this discussion. And so that's where I take that to recovery chat. And I go through and I'll run that prompt on myself, and it will show and start poking holes in it and challenge me in a different way. So I don't think it ever goes away. Of talking to even some really successful people, they say you just learn how to continue to grow with that thought, because you're not giving it the food, like what is that, Little Shop of Horror. You're not continually feeding it so it grows. You just go, I see you. Okay, thank you. I acknowledge you. We're still going to do it.
I love it. This lady's name was, I think it's a lady, Eveline Sanders. She's basically, she asks, do you think people that stay stuck in their depression are selfish?
So, hey, I'm going to answer it politically correct and then get into it. Yes and no. Here's why. Everything that we experience has a positive intention behind it. So for me and my depression, I didn't know it had a positive intention. It was to keep me safe. As I started to understand this, again, the whole seat at the table, I had misdiagnosed it as this horrific thing that's trying to take my life and end me. It's kind of like, no, it's this part that wanted to be seen and held and heard and know that it is good enough. Like, think about it. My depression is good enough and worthy of my love. That did not compute. So of understanding that when this depression hits, I don't think it's an intentional selfishness, but there's a part of us that says, we need to connect and check in with ourselves. There's an unmet need and there's a lesson that desires to be learned. And what I've learned is if I don't learn the lesson the first time, no problem. It'll keep coming back until I'm willing to listen to learn the lesson. And once I learn the lesson, I don't know why it's this way. Most of the time it's like, oh, cool, we're good now. I'm like, wait, you're not going to continue to destroy me? No, you got the lesson. We're good. That's the whole reason why I was here. I'm like, whoa. And then, of course, the imposter syndrome comes and goes, why couldn't I figure this out sooner?
I love it. We got one last question from this one says it's Raja with a lot of numbers behind it. Anyway, the question is, why do I have so much anxiety and how do you overcome anxiety? Where does it come from and how do you overcome?
Where does anxiety come from? Well, what I've experienced is it comes from living into the future. Anytime I experience anxiety, and again, these are simple signals of a dashboard. The way that I like to look at my emotions now is imagine driving and a little light that pops up that just says like, my tires like to be at 35 PSI. Don't know why. Yeah. If it gets to 33, the little thing goes off. Imagine if that goes off and I start freaking out and going, this car sucks, it's a piece of crap, and I abandon it on the side of the road because a signal came up. As opposed to, oh, it's just a signal. When I get some time, I just got to go ahead and put a little bit more air in the tire, and it goes back to being this beautiful thing. Emotions, when viewed as signals versus this is truth because I feel it must be true, it's my reality. Well, no. If I'm experiencing emotion, you guys don't know what it is, nor would you care. I'm not making a stab, but it's like, nor would you care because your reality is different than mine. Just because I feel something doesn't mean it's true for me, although it feels true. So with someone experiencing a lot of anxiety, it would be, let's uncover, typically there's something that happened, like for me with my aunt, there's something that happened as a kid. And once we start to explore that, it's like, oh, this is where my fear comes in. This is where a lot of my pain comes in and why I'm a stuffer, because this was the first time that I really stuffed and it worked. So as we start to identify this stuff, now we can go ahead, it's going to sound weird, but we can go back in time. We can actually have a resolution, do a reconciliation with that part of us. So one of the things I've done and was led through in therapy is I met with that little 8-year-old boy. And I just put him on my lap and I just loved him. And I said, that must have been so scary. I want you to know I'm here for you. I love you. What are you needing from me? And what's interesting is when you use all 5 senses and you go deep into your emotions, the brain, for some reason, doesn't seem to know reality from projected reality. And so by doing that and going back to that little 8-year-old boy in me, like he feels so loved now because I've created a safe space for him, where back then it wasn't. So that's how I was able to make that part for depression. So if there's a part in the future, maybe doing it just the other way. Go into that older version that's living. I love that was Inside Out, anxiety. That's such a great character. Going out that version of you and just loving that version, saying, look, I love you. As crazy as you are, I love you unconditionally. What are you needing from me now? And it might just be, I just need to know that you're not going to judge me and kick me to the curb. And then when we come back now, we're like, I feel less anxious. This is beautiful.
Wow. This has been wonderful. I want you to know that, I could just listen to you all day. First of all, I am so grateful to have a friendship with you. You're just such a great guy.
Ditto.
And I'm proud to know you. Just having you come on, it's so insightful, so deep. I believe that everything you speak of and all of the fact that you want to help comes from spirit within so that we can put spirit outward. And, I love that you overcame your depression. You don't seem like a person that's depressed. You also don't seem like a person that ever gets mad at anything. I couldn't imagine you getting upset, or at least a person that when you do get mad, you know how to process a lot better. So I learned from you. You know, I want, when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Well, first of all, thank you. I feel the same way. Like when you came on our podcast, I'm like, I finally got to meet Pej. So we're brothers from other mothers.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I do want to leave is that this journey of life is not about perfection.
Never. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I get mad. I say some of the dumbest stuff to my wife, and I'm so grateful. I have an amazingly understanding wife that will sit there and come back to me and be like, sweetie, did you really mean this? I'm like, oh, dang it. Thank you for loving me in that moment. No, I totally blew it. So I've gotten way better from doing the work, but also, so there's the truth part. That's how we change.
Yeah.
But I missed grace for so long. And that's the equation of spiritual growth, is when I bring truth and grace, that's how we start to merge, and that we continue to grow until one of the final lessons my grandma taught me. She lived to be 96. It was a few months before she passed.
Yeah.
One of the wisest human beings I'd ever met. She was a prayer warrior, like hardcore. Anything happens, you call grandma, she gets your little prayer circle together, and literally things change. And I remember, I'm like, Grandma, when did you finally know like you had life figured out? Like it was just, you knew. She goes, oh, sweetie, I still get to learn stuff every single day and I love it. And that was like oh my gosh, you're in your 90s and you're still learning. I got to quit thinking there's a finish line and trying to sprint to it and enjoy this beautiful, messed up, glorious game we call life.
I love it. Thank you for coming out today.
Appreciate you, man.
I loved it. Until we meet again.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Wow. I mean, come on. I love this interview. It was really, really good. Whenever I speak with him, I can just, whenever I speak with Mark, I love to hear the way that he presents and talks. His delivery is on point. And you can tell it comes from the heart, not from the head. The man has evidently really worked on himself to overcome all of the issues that he possessed and encountered. But I love how much he's in service of helping people. 25 years, his place has been in operation, and there's so many different types of people from all walks of life that come through his center that I just know on the front lines how much he helps, because I've been there to see it with my own eyes, but also I know about Mark. Mark is just a person that a lot of people look to try to get past the whole drug and alcohol problem and see what the core issue is within them. And the fact that he wrote the book to try to help people on a broader scale and created the app is, to me, it's monumental. I think it's a wonderful thing. I was holding on to every word, and I mean, I could just listen to that guy talk all day long as I told him that. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. And also, I was going to mention, if you like this channel, please subscribe to it in whatever platform that you find us on. YouTube, all the other platforms that are audio, and obviously YouTube is visual. And then on top of that, if you would share it, and please tell other people about it, and comment in the comment section. We love to hear from you. We want to be able to react and interact with you. So if you do that too, please. And until we meet again, this has been Primary Purpose with Pej. Thank you.